Hi, hello, and how the heck are you? That's right, ladies and gentlemen. That Rockwell timepiece says it's time, so come on in and stay a while. It's time to get coached up with another edition of the Coach Sky Field Show. That's right, I continue to be a proud brand ambassador for Rockwell brand. Just go to rockwelltime.com. Use the code COACH20 and receive 20% off of any merchandise there at that wonderful website. If you like and follow the Coach Scott Field Show on our Facebook page, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thrilled to see those numbers going up. Don't forget to hit that bell so that way you get notifications when our quality guests come on. If you're listening to us in podcast form today, I say turn that knob up. Ike and I are about to put some flavor in your ear. And if you're watching us on DBTV, Monday through Fridays and also Saturday afternoons, thank you so much to our 400,000 viewers daily. And then, wow, the fact that we can be seen in over 300 million households around the globe is huge for us. Also, if you're watching us on CSTV, thank you. And also the Rewind Sports 60. But no matter how you consume us, I say thank you. But without further ado, you're not here to listen to the follically challenged man sit here and gab. We're here for our man today, Ike Austin. Ike, welcome to the show, my friend.
Oh, Scott, thank you. I appreciate it.
Man, we're
Thanks
going
for
to.
having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure, my friend. I mean, I'm living here in Salt Lake City now, where you were drafted in the second round, the 48th pick, and you've had a great career in basketball and had ups and downs. But I love that about your story, and I'm eager for the viewers to kind of learn through your processes. And so thanks for your time and being with us, brother.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, it was. It has been a ride as a career. You know, not being not being looked at as to be drafted, and then going down to the combine to the NBA combines, and then making my way to at least get drafted as a second round pick. So that was special in that point. That's when you knew that I knew that I had an opportunity to do something in the league. Now to to be able to go to the Jazz where you have, Jerry Sloan, Karl Malone, and John Stockton, good veterans, Jeff Hornacek, Jeff Malone before that. This was a good experience for me because Carl took me under his wing, learned some of his traits and things like that, and then that catapults me to further after I got released from the Jazz to go to other teams and implement some of the stuff I learned.
I love that. And let's get into that. I mean, going into the draft, of course, you were first team all Pac 10 at Arizona State, them Sun Devils. How did that time with Arizona State, how did that mentally prepare you? Because you had a skill set, you had a good size to you, you had a good game to you, but what was it about Arizona State that was special that even put you in position to be like, you know what? I know if I go through these processes, I can be there.
Well, Coach Scott, you got to understand uh, in high school, I wasn't I didn't get any colleges in high school. So when I was a high school player, I played well, but I was big inside. So I always been big, overweight. That was the most label that was on me. So I went to a junior college, and that junior college is what when I lost the weight and saw that I can get down, the skills were always there. Just for me was all about getting in shape to where I can do all the stuff that I need to do on the court, rebound, block some shots and play defense and score in the opportunities when they're given. So when I went to Arizona State, I actually went to Arizona State just to go play with my brother. My brother was there at Arizona State. And I used to go to Phoenix every summer and play with them in the summer, and then also play with some of the Suns players Mark West and all those guys in the summer gym. We used to all play together. So I felt comfortable going there, even though I took, the trips to, not UCLA, but USC and Washington State and Oregon State. I always knew I was going to go to Arizona State just because of that. So I had a connection there. Unfortunately, that's when Bill Frieder got the coaching job there. And then he brought in, Fontana, and Jamal Faulkner, and Stephen Smith, aka Headache. So he got a really good freshman crew that came in with some of the guys that were already there. And then Terrence Wheeler, which is my best friend today, which is from Southwest out of Detroit, which was a great play. He should have been an NBA player. That situation with him before I got to him, he hurt his knee in Cal. It was a Cal Berkeley game, and he tore his ACL. So that kind of like slowed everything down for him. But he was just explosive as Jason Kidd. At the time, Jason Kidd was at Cal. He was at ASU. He was putting up numbers. Anyway, so I think just those 2 years to be able to play at Arizona State, blossom. We had some good young guys, and we made it in the tournament. We played well, and got that exposure. Um, and so I appreciate what Arizona State has done for me. And they got a good program now. They got Hurley coaching and things like that. So program is coming around. They made it back to the tournament again and all that. So it looks like it's going to come up. But yeah, I think that college experience of not being a high school player, but not getting schools, then going to a junior college, earning All American in junior college, and then getting that scholarship to. So the stages in my basketball career has what grown me to be why my career did what it did.
Would you say, Ike, it's fair that because you were kind of overseen, you were hungry to prove yourself and you had that proverbial chip on your shoulder to prove that you belong? Was that a motivation factor for you?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. You always want that. There's always the doubters, right? You want to prove them wrong. But I always knew I had the skill. I just didn't have the way to how I'm gonna get in shape, how I'm gonna learn. So over the times I learned, you know what I'm saying? I had to learn how to get into shape, how to run faster, how to do this. Those things I didn't know when I was young. And the coaching, the coaching that I went through got me there. And then when I got to a level where I can pay for training and stuff outside of what we're doing with your basketball team, then that's where my game had got elevated.
Right, right. And I like how you talked about how you had to learn how to develop, how to be coached and be coachable and get yourself in physical shape to prove that you had the skill set to utilize your body and frame and produce. And but when Bill Frieder came in, I grew up in Indiana, was a Hall of Famer in Indiana, and of course, him being in the Big Ten with Michigan. But what was it about Coach Frieder that really helped build your confidence to get through the process to know that maybe, you know what, professional is an option?
Yeah, Bill. I mean, Bill Frieder he's a coach that he's a player's coach.
That's right.
So he's about the player and making them feel good about themselves, giving them the opportunity. And I think he stayed on me. The conditioning that I was going through with him was different than the previous coach. Well, I didn't have the previous coach then but I seen that coach. I seen what they've done because my brother was there. But uh, yeah, I think that started it off. And then when we had the season we had, and then going to the tournament, and then having that game against Rutgers, and then playing against Arkansas, which was the second round, we should have beat them.
Yeah.
I don't care what nobody said. We had them beat. We should have beat them. I think
And,
that we made some small mistakes, which you can look back and say if we would have made these kinds of mistakes, maybe slowed down, took better shots, we would have won that game.
And I
But
love to hear you say that because here we are in our 50s and we still think about those trials and tribulations and almost victories that still ignite a fire in us. So you
right,
talking about Arkansas, you close your
yeah,
eyes and it's like we're right back in the second round of the NCAA
yeah,
tournament.
exactly. We going to Sweet 16.
Yeah, that's
That
right.
was crazy. We won
Right?
that game. We in the Sweet 16, and we were up. That was the thing. That was the thing. I think we rushed, and he didn't put Terrence uh, Terrence in there. Sorry about that. He didn't put Terrence in there quick enough. I think if he would have put Terrence back in there, it would have been a better outcome for us because he was more of a veteran.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just to have that experience to control pace, control tempo, and get buckets for you when needed, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I like that. And then so the season ends, disappointment. How quickly before you started talking with different agents and then you get with an agent, then you go to the NBA combine, which, back in the day, everything was done in Chicago and you had the Portsmouth Invitational. But what was that process for you when you're trying to decide, who do I want to represent me and be my sports agent?
Well, I didn't want to go the route my brother went, and then so I was going to those things to those camps, and Portsmouth was a good outcome for me at Portsmouth. Gave me a good thing, but Fred, he was a individual guy. He was an LA guy when I first signed with him, so I thought he had a little niche. Plus, he had some decent players. He had players that were coming up like myself under his belt. And plus, he had a team that was playing when the summer league used to be out in LA out in there. So that helped in the situation. Just in case I didn't get on with an NBA team to play in the summer league, he still played in those summer league with the team that he put in. That's when they allowed you to have agents to have their own teams and stuff
Yeah.
inside
I,
the summer league to
those
play.
were
You
great
remember
times.
that?
Yeah, that was back
There's
at
a
Long
lot.
Beach. Yeah, because I was with
Yes,
Jody
yeah,
Garner and he had a team and we had Sean Rooks and Mike Pimberthy
yeah,
and that
yeah,
group.
yeah.
So those were great battles and but what a great opportunity to gain exposure, for all the
Exactly,
NBA executives.
exactly. They were there watching those games, so
Right.
so that's why I chose him, and I got to deal with the Jazz. Um, I I got hurt, and I was hurt actually in the tournament playing against Arkansas now. I was actually hurt. And then when I went to the because they called me, I remember it like it was yesterday. I was in Phoenix at my apartment, and I get a call from Marty Blake, and he says, "Hey, how fast can you get to Chicago?" And I said, "I can get there whenever you guys can give me a ticket." So he said, "Son, look, we got some of the top draft players are not coming to the combine, so we need to have some people out here. We'll get you a ticket, whatever. Just come on out and let's get started." So I came out there, and I had black shoes and all this stuff. It's so crazy. I'm telling you this story, but so I'm playing in the combine, good. And then the exec at the time I was at Charlotte, and they had the number one pick and they had the second round pick. And he said to me, he said, "I look, you're wearing black shoes. that makes you look slower on the court. He said these things are all looked at. And I just, I didn't have no white shoes, but he was like, don't wear black shoes, especially if you're a slow player. Don't wear black shoes, because black shoes on the court look like you're slow, So these type of little things that you learn and you hear. So I hear that, I take it, whatever. So I played well in the thing, and then started actually inviting me out for individual workout. I went to that workout, and I mean, I hate to say it like this, but I shot the hell out of the ball.
Right,
I
right.
mean, I think I missed maybe 8 shots out of the routine that they had me doing. I missed about 2 shots out of the whole routine. And I thought that I would be their second round pick because they were going to be, they had the 22nd at that year, that my year. And I thought I was going to be their second pick because they picked Larry as the first and they already had Zoe. So I thought I was going to be the second pick for them.
Right.
And so I had a good workout there. I had workouts in LA at that time, individual workouts. So I got through all those workouts, and then came draft day. The Jazz picked me 48. So
Wow.
I earned that position because I wasn't in at that position. So that means what I'd done in Portsmouth and the combine and all the stuff I've done earned that position to get to a 48 pick, which was,
That's
hey, look.
that's that's big because you think about it, and the Jazz are always notorious for finding those diamonds in the rough, especially in the second round, because for years they've done their due diligence and done their background checks. And so they probably had you on their radar, early. And the fact that now you're coming in with a Hall of Fame coach, Coach Sloan. What was that like with your first introduction to Coach Sloan? Because he's known for hard nose, toughness, and to me, I mean, you're the perfect Coach Sloan guy.
Yeah, Sloan was great to me. I think that, he was really hard on me. I think and that should be, it's supposed to be, right? So I just told I think Sloan helped me along with being under Carl. So me and Carl was together, day and night. I used to go to his ranch. We work out together there. We did all type of stuff together. Hunt, fish, we did everything. So uh so being under Carl and learning how he worked out and got in condition for the season, that taught me some things. Even though the Jazz released me, they had a weight clause. I don't know if a lot of people know or the Jazz fans knew. I had a weight clause under the Jazz, and I made every weight clause that they had. I had 7 weight clauses. I made every one, but the thing is that Sloan never really rewarded me for that. You know what I mean? A guy that's going to work, right, to make those things, you would think that, okay, he would throw some minutes at him or do something. And I didn't get that. So that was a disconnect between me and Sloan. I respect Sloan. I understand him and I understand why he did it, now. But at the time I was saying like, look, I've made my way and I'm battling against Eaton and Mike Brown in practice, all this stuff. I mean, why wouldn't I get any, a few minutes? I wasn't asking for a lot. It wasn't like I wanted to be there for a lot. But yeah, I believed at that time I could give you a good, 10 minutes or 5 minutes and I knew at that time I really didn't know about the pro rating, how the NBA prorated your based off of your minutes, right? I didn't know that at the time. I was young.
Yeah.
But when I got to the Heat, Mike McAdoo told me about that because he was my coach at when I was at the Heat, and
Bob
he told me about
McAdoo.
that. Bob McAdoo taught me that, and then that's when it clicked.
Yep.
And I said, "Oh, okay, I get it now." So you
Yep.
want that plus minus when you get in the game. If it's at this thing, what happened when you got in the game? Where did the score go? What is this? Blah, 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 blah. And now that changed my whole game. That's where the most improved comes in. So
Right. And I want to go back to the Utah Jazz because Coach Sloan was notorious for being super hard on rookies. I mean, it didn't matter if you were a first round pick, second round pick, um, free agent, rookies that came in. I mean, Coach was very, very hard on those guys. And I'm sure that was part of you learning the business of the pro game because, I mean, you're basically thrown into it, but yet to work out with Hall of Fame guys like John Stockton and Karl Malone, and you had Big T, Thurl Bailey. But I can
right.
only imagine what those practices were like battling against 7'4". Matter of fact, got his book right there. Mark Eaton, may he rest in
Yeah.
peace.
Yeah.
What were those battles and practices like for a young rookie coming in, going, "Whoa, these guys! I mean, there's some banging going on in the paint."
For me, I mean, yeah, I mean, we had that talent there, right, Scott? So
That's right.
being able to play against Mark Eaton and all that stuff, you learn all the insides and stuff of the game, especially being a center. I was a center and a power forward. So I learned how to play both positions and how to guard both positions. So being a young player playing with these type of players, unfortunately, I played with really good players and really good coaches. I had that for my career, and I'm blessed to have that. Um, so that knowledge is the key
Yep.
because that's how you grow
That's right.
as a player,
That's right.
and that's what is missing in today's game.
So true. So true.
They're not getting the knowledge. The coaches are getting younger. Some of the coaches don't have that experience. Some of them do. Um, they're not getting these young guys are not getting the knowledge
Yep.
to help them grow their game.
That's right.
So
That's
they
right.
have to go back and look for him. Look at Kobe. Look at the coaches he had. Who coached them? It's like Phil coached Michael Jordan. So you know that when Phil went to LA, what he was able to teach Kobe. You see what I'm saying? That
Yep.
knowledge.
Yep.
That's what you don't get, and these young guys are not getting that.
That's
They're
so
not
true.
getting
And
that.
I love that you say that because there's almost a sense of entitlement and you're rewarding players on uh probability, like I think he's worth the shot, but yet they're not earning it. And yet to have a veteran presence to help you like a Karl Malone did to kind of teach you the pro game, how to take care of yourself, the diet, the nutrition, the rest, those are all valuable pieces. And that's why you see so many development coaches on an NBA staff right now. But like you said, those coaches are young, but yet we need those veteran players and veteran coaches to help groom and develop the talent to learn spacing, to learn angles, to learn footwork, post interior passing. There's so many things that you and I are talking about right now that are missed and are not taught in the game properly.
No, it's not because the game has changed. They want the game is speeding, so they want the game to go fast. They want it high scoring. They want to shoot threes.
That's
It's
right.
all about analytics, and they're missing all the points of the talent that they have. The talent is greater than it was before back in the 90s to today. The kids are more talented because they seen and they're grown the game,
Yeah.
but they're not mentally prepared. That's where they're breaking down. They're not mentally prepared to handle situations. And that's what crumbles. You look at the Boston situation, they crumbled. It wasn't crumbled because they didn't have the talent. They crumbled because they didn't have the mentality. The mental part of it wasn't there.
That's right.
How
Yep.
Brown had 8 turnovers in a game 7 at home. It don't make no sense.
Yeah.
What did they prepare before, and what happened in that locker room, and what was talking? If you had that veteran presence there, it'd have been a totally different situation.
I,
That's
I,
that's just my thoughts.
No, I love it. I think, and also, Brown and Tatum's game is so similar, but they don't complement each other. And
No, they don't.
not to have the mindset to learn how to close a team out and how to execute and get those defensive stops when it's needed. So I'm glad you
Right.
said that. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Ike Austin here with us on the Coach Scott Field Show, sharing some unbelievable wisdom, expertise, and nuggets with you guys today. Love the things that Ike's bringing to the table. Ike, let's talk about Miami Heat's in the finals right now. You are part of that Miami Heat culture. You mentioned Coach Bob McAdoo, who was a phenomenal player himself. And, in the 97 season, after you spent a year in the CBA with the Cavalry and Coach Henry Bibby, you get into the Miami Heat organization and you flourish. What was it about the Miami Heat culture? Of course, it trickles down. You have Pat Riley and they're just phenomenal players. You got Alonzo Mourning down there with you. You think of, Marley and Bashan Leonard and Kurt Thomas was there. But what was it for you personally about the Heat culture that just helped you blow up? Because most improved player, that's quite an honor, especially in 97 after spending a few years, in the league.
Yeah, so that whole story started when it was a summer, Scott, when I went to Cleveland for a tryout for a camp, and I was going to try to make their team. And I got there, and I got cut in the physical part, so I never got a chance to get on the court. Uh, Fratello was the coach at that time,
Yeah.
and he said, "Son, you're too heavy. We just can't." I think I went in and I weighed at 340 pounds at that time. And they said, your knees are a little bad and you're too overweight. We just cannot, it'll be a liability to allow you on the court. So they sent me back to Phoenix. I said, okay, just give me a flight back to Phoenix. I went back to Phoenix. I met a guy named Mac Newton. That's his name. He's in Phoenix now and still does it today of what he did back in the day when I was there. It's so amazing of what he's doing still today.
Wow.
And that was what 90 what was that, 95, 90, 96.
25, 30 years ago.
30 years ago. Yeah, 25, 30 years ago.
That's 3
Older
decades.
then. So you gotta, and he's still doing it today. Anyway, Mac was the one that I went to him and he said, son, you just gotta do everything I tell you to do. And that's it. I don't want to hear nothing else. Just do what I tell you to do. So I went to this camp, into his thing in Phoenix. I stayed there. I started working out with him, and I dropped the weight.
Wow.
Then my agent told me, "Okay, you got an opportunity to go to a mini camp that they're having in Miami." So I went to the mini camp. It was about 50 guys in there. Tony Farmer was there,
Tony,
and
yeah.
I saw Tony on the thing. So we went through the first mini camp. Everything it was difficult. It was very hard. The stuff that Pat put us through that camp was unbelievable. I went into I was in the locker room, and Pat came to me. Pat came up to me at that time, and he said, "Listen, son, you got a lot of skills, but you're not in shape. If you don't drop 10 pounds, I can't invite you back to the next mini camp." He had 3 mini camps that year.
Wow.
50 guys in each mini camp. So that's 150 guys that came through Miami that year. And guess what? Only 2 people made it. And that was me and Tony Farmer.
Wow. See, and to hear that, to know that there's that much of a selection, you have to have your eye on a goal and say, okay, I'm going to lose these 10 pounds because I believe in what they're doing. And the fact that Coach Riley walks up to you and says, young man, here's what you need. You got to love that there was, this is direct criticism. I can handle this transparency and this accountability. I'm going to get myself right to put myself in that position, because that's less than 1% of the people who are coming back to that third and final camp to get into veteran camp.
Correct. And that was just to make to now, okay, now we're inviting you now to stay in Miami. We're gonna put you up, give you per diem, and you're gonna work out. So now I'm working out with Kurt Thomas because Kurt Thomas was under contract, this, that, and that. So the development started happening. I was actually going and doing the practices that they had. And then after the practice, I was Bill Ferran. Bill Ferran was the strength and conditioning coach here at the Heat when I was there. And me and Bill, after the workout, I used to ride the bike for 1 hour.
Wow.
Every time, every day, Monday to Sunday. After the workout. So I did the workout with the guys. And then after that was done, I would ride the bike for an hour. And
Extra
did that
on
every
top
day.
of top of the intense workouts.
Correct. And top of the intense. So you know where it was. So that's when I started, the weight started, that's when it started to click. I started dropping the pounds. Me and Tony, I actually at that time moved out of the hotel and moved in with Tony so that I could save some money. And, I was living with Tony in Miami and we were working out every day with the Heat. And, we ended up making it. And then the Heat signed me to a 2-year deal. At that time, it was like my first year was like 200 some thousand. And then the veterans came in, then Zoe and Tim Hardaway and PJ Brown and all the players started coming in and then we really started going at it. And because I was in shape, I could really go at Zoe. So that was another thing. And Pat was, he used to have his office above where we were practicing in the practice facility. His office was up in there so he could peek down and see what's going on.
That's right.
And all that stuff. So the games used to get really intense and stuff like that. So, talking a lot of mess to each other. I mean, it had an impact. And so I gave that in. I think that impressed, and that's what he saw. That's why he came to speak to me because he knew I had that in me. And that was the impact. And then it just carried over. And then because we had Zoe, PJ Brown, myself, and Kurt, that's why he made the decision to trade Kurt from Jamaal Mashburn and then made it a three big guy rotation. Me coming in for Zoe and then me and PJ playing together and then Zoe coming back in, PJ go out, kind of like that. So we rotated like that. Yep. Because I can play the 4 and the 5 because I got my body, my body fat down and being able to move, I could guard both positions. So that's what really happened. That is that's really what happened. It was real work.
And what I want the viewers to understand, a workout for Pat Riley is a whole nother level. I'm talking about you can go into organizations and they're going to put you through the rigors, which is, your regular workout. But a Pat Riley workout, the intensity, the competition, and he saw you had that dog in you, especially when you got your weight right and went through all the process that you had to do. And, being told no at other places, that didn't deter you. That put a fire in you. And that's what I want viewers to understand, because a Pat Riley workout is like, here's an NBA workout, and then let's go 3 or 4 levels higher. That's a Pat Riley level workout. So
yeah.
For him to notice that you had that dog in you, and to your credit, you were undersized to be a center, but you could guard the post and center, but then to play that power forward and have that rotation with your group with Miami, that takes a lot of hard work and dedication and focus, because you had to maintain that weight, maintain that diet, take care of your body, and continue to compete on a daily basis.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, you look at that years, if you go back and look at those years, when Zoe was hurt, I think Zoe got missed about 20-something, 30 games that year. and we didn't miss a beat.
That's
We
right.
didn't lose. We didn't, everything was still intact. So yeah, it was great to win the award. I mean, it just solidified what I done, how I came, the work that I put into it, um,
Wow.
and it was a special situation.
Yeah.
Now, the way it was given to me, and the way it was a playoff. It was a playoff time when they gave me that award, and we were playing against Orlando, and I didn't play that series, so I was I was into myself because it was like, okay, I played against these guys in the regular season. Why wouldn't Pat play me in the playoff season? During the playoffs. And we were up that season, and we went to Orlando, and they won two there, and then it got really frisky, and he was,
Frisky.
and it got really it got challenging. Penny Hardaway came by, did some things, and it made it a series. And when it wasn't supposed to be. And I don't know why he didn't play me in that series. Um, but I remember him telling me, he said, "Son, get out of yourself. We got a new series. We're going against New York. Get yourself ready. Blah 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 blah." You
Right.
know,
And let's think
but it's
about
not.
that
It's not.
too. The fact that,
Yeah, because I was in my feelings. I was in
yeah,
my
right,
feelings
right.
because
Got in
I was
your
the
head.
most
You got in your
improved.
head. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, I was in my feelings about it because I won most improved. I've been playing well for you all year, and then all of a sudden you don't play me in a playoff series. Like, as a player, that's like, what? You know what I mean? You're like, what's wrong with him? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not getting it.
Yeah. And what and let's talk about this too, because then you go into a heated rivalry with was the Knicks, which Pat left to go down to the Heat, which there's something there, and then those battles with the Heat and the Knicks, in those '90s and early 2000. I mean, those were those were battles right there. I take us to that intensity level in the playoffs against the Knicks to even have a chance to go against the Bulls in the Eastern Conference. Because I mean, those were some days right there, brother.
Yeah, yeah. Now that was very. Um, I'm gonna tell you the crazy thing. And we all know that series. We all know what happened.
Yeah, yeah.
That was that was not like scripted, but it was really talked about the day before we even went into the game. Me and PJ are very close.
Yeah.
So we were in that game, and we were actually getting our butt kicked by New York. I mean, when we played New York, we both, when we played New York, we both uh, uh, have some of the same plays, this and that. They're similar because Coach played there, and Van Gundy was under Pat. So it's all similar stuff. It's just about which team is going to be more physical and all that. So that was about this series. It was about who's going to impose themselves more
That's right.
on the other. That's the only way you were going to come out of that series. And New York had us down. They had us down 3-1. We ended up winning the game that that PJ, when he flipped Charlie Ward on the side of the Knicks side, and then all the Knicks players came off. But the day before in practice, me and PJ was talking, and PJ said, "Man, I'm tired of these guys. Da, 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 da. Anybody come up under me, I'm just gonna go off." That's what he said the day before, and then that actually really happened when Charlie Ward was on the free throw line and went to his leg. He didn't like that. So when it happened, I was like, "Oh, this was." PJ was in his thing already the day before, so
Yeah,
he
he was
already knew
he
this
was
was gonna
ready
happen.
for it. He was ready for it.
Yeah, he was ready. But we end up losing, a guy. Uh, they said we lose a guy that's getting, 10 defensive rebounds, averaging probably 5 to 8 rebounds offensively, and a great defensive player. We lose that. And at that time, we traded Kurt for Mashburn. So Mashburn was just getting in from Dallas, trying to learn the
Yep.
way we play. So he was just getting adapted,
Yeah.
and he got
Kind of
thrown
kind of
into
getting
the
into chemistry.
spot.
Yeah, trying to learn the chemistry,
Right.
right?
So right. So we end up winning that game, and we're going to New York, right, for game 6. Zoe was playing, PJ was out. We're in the locker room. Pat does his speech. He says, we're losing a guy that gives us a 98% every game on defensive end, 10, 10 defensive rebounds, 8 rebounds. So who's going to step up? Who's going to step up in this position? This is what Pat's speech is before the game, before we're going out. So I raised my hand. I was like, hey, shit, I'm ready. I'm ready. But that wasn't what he was looking for. He was actually looking for Jamaal Mashburn.
Yeah.
He wanted Jamaal to step up as a player because he was our third option. It was Zoe, Tim, 1, 2, and then Jamaal was our third option. So that's what happened. And then in the game, we had a good game. It was really good game. And then I think the turning point of the game is when Oakley had a free layup, and I chased him down and blocked the shot. And then Tim went down and shot a 3. And that was the whole turning point of the game in New York.
Momentum right there.
Momentum changed. Boom, boom, boom. We won that game. And then we came back home, and obviously the home game was a blowout at that time. I mean, Zoe was shooting threes, and everybody was shooting. I mean, it was just one of the things.
And I just want to explain to the viewers that don't have the basketball acumen or IQ. When you say Mashburn is the third option, we're talking offensively. Who's going to be that scorer? Who's going to be that guy who can step up? So just for the viewers, that's what we're talking about right there. Love that story because I feel the intensity just as you share it. I mean, it's like we're right there on the court.
It was it was very intense. And also for your viewers, yeah. So in the NBA and on an NBA team, they have as for options. So in a play, you have your first option, which is most of the time your superstar players, depending on which one is doing what. Tim Hardaway was our point guard, so he initiated. So it was like we always got Zoe first going in the game, and then Tim will gradually pick up. So when I'm saying options, even though Tim and Zoe are our superstar players, it was really Zoe was our first option to get going in the game. Right. And then Tim, because he got the ball all the time, he can always gradually get himself into the game.
Right. He can get to his spots, get his shots, and then if defense converges, kick out, for a shot, and then exactly. Great breakdown.
Correct.
Right
and
there.
then Jamaal was our third option based off of certain things or certain setups that we've done when, say, Zoe is not in the game. Now he's that third scorer, pretty much, that we're going to focus on. So that's the terminology. So
especially when that quick hitter is called and you're going for that either pick and roll or getting Zoe on the block. Which block is he going to get on? And then how are we going to, rotate our offense out of that? I love this discussion. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Coach Scott Field Show. We got the 1997 NBA's most improved player, and he's talking about the process. Basically, unrecruited out of high school, gets into a junior college, goes to Arizona State, gets picked in the second round, has, a few steps in the process, gets to Miami. Man, we're having a great conversation here. I talk about because the term is thrown out there a lot. You and I get it, but for the viewers, when the press is saying heat culture to you, what does that mean?
Oh, that's discipline, dedication, hard work, follow the script, and win. I mean, the Heat Nation is about winning. I mean, Pat Riley, that was his thing. It was all about winning. It didn't matter about your feelings. It didn't matter about nothing. It was about the team and about how we're going to win together and what we and everyone being accountable of what they're supposed to do when you get on the court. Period.
I love that. And let's talk about it too, because it's a term that's thrown out there, but culture is established by daily habits of repetition, daily habits within your competition, daily habits and within your personal routines on how you take care of yourself mentally and physically and have the mindset to go compete at the highest level. Is that correct? Or fill in those
No, that
blanks?
is yeah. So that is correct. That's how it is. I mean, you look at Eric Spoelstra, right?
That's right.
He's now coaching. He's got what two championships, four finals, uh, in the finals again this year, um, and have an opportunity. But when I was playing with the Heat, Eric Spoelstra was the video guy.
Right. Yeah.
So Pat groomed him to that position to where he is today. So that tells you how he operates when it comes to players.
Yep.
And if you don't follow the way he wants it to go, he'll get rid of you, period.
That's right.
That's just how it is.
And let's circle
It's just
back
how
to
it is.
I love that because yeah, he was groomed. He came through the process, learned from great coaches, and been around great players. He's under the Pat Riley umbrella daily for all those years. So from video coordinator to scout to advanced scout to a assistant coach to moving up those seats on the bench. And that's what's missing in these other NBA franchises. They don't have that veteran leader or that guy who makes that decision, who drives the ship on that daily
Correct.
basis. And that's what culture is. And that's why Miami Heat, even like right now in the series, and we'll keep it evergreen, but that they're going to try to find a way to win, even if they don't have the depth or the talent and they have the undrafted players, but because of the daily routines and the daily habits, here we are once again in the NBA finals with the Miami Heat, and they have two rotational players out injured with Tyler Hero and Victor Oladipo, and they're still competing.
Yeah, that's because that is the I mean that's been with the Heat ever since Pat got there.
Yeah. Yep.
And remember, Pat got there. I got there right when he got there.
That's
So I mean, he had maybe I think it was 1 year before I got there. He had 1 year under his belt, and then that year, that's when he went after PJ, and he ended up getting PJ. He was going after what's his name from Michigan, that's coaching at Michigan now.
Juwan Howard.
Juwan Howard. He almost had him, Juwan and Zoe at the same time that summer, but he ended up PJ ended up being there instead of Juwan Howard.
That's right.
Juwan, I think, went to the Wizards. But yeah, that's always been. I think I heard a quote or I saw something saying that Dwayne Wade had told LeBron that, hey, you say you want Coach Pat to coach, but you really don't want that. and to be honest, man, I mean, coach is a beast, but he's about it. I mean, he's about winning. He the good thing is he got good relationships with all his players. So he used to bring Magic in to speak to us, this, that, and that. And if you look at the coaching staff and the players that are there, those are players that played in the thing. I even tried to get a job with Pat and I couldn't because he's full. He's like, I got all the players are still here. I mean, it's like, you know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
So
Yeah, wow. And see, I love that, it's groomed from within. And it's almost like how a University of North Carolina and Dean Smith would groom his coaches. So it's the same thing where NCAA, it's a program, but with Pat Riley, it's a culture and a franchise, and he takes care of everything, within that franchise. And I love hearing those types of stories because you get to pull the curtain back and let the viewers know what it's like on that day-to-day basis, because it truly is a competitive mindset, because everybody's skilled, everybody's in condition, everybody can execute, but it's that mindset that will take you to that next level. And you have to feel a sense of pride. Like, I'm giving you flowers again because you were a part of establishing that culture with the Heat, because Pat had it with the Showtime Lakers, changed the way they played with New York. He comes down to Miami. You help establish that Heat culture that we're seeing today, my friend.
Definitely. And I appreciate everything that the Heat has done for me. It gave me the opportunity to flourish as a player. Like I said, I won the award there. Had great games for the Heat. I mean, I wish I could have finished my career with the Heat, and that was the only thing that was confusing with me and Pat
Yeah.
at the time. At the time, that the second year, so I was probably the second highest behind Pippen that year as a free agent. And we were playing during the season that year. And Pat was always coming to me and saying, "Oh, you're gonna leave me at the altar, this, that, that." I was like, "Nah, we here, Heat culture, all this stuff, the videos you make. This is what I'm about. I came here. I'm a Heat player. You groomed me from when I was, when I came back into the league. I mean, why would I want to leave?" And I didn't understand that, but that's the business part.
Yep,
It's
that's
the
right.
business part of the league, and then you have the playing part.
Yep.
And in that situation, I thought that I thought that he he could have kept me instead of trading me to the Clippers,
Yeah.
because
Gotcha.
he traded me for uh,
Brent Barry.
Ben Barry, and Ben Barry didn't even make the playoff roster.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then that year they had to fight again, and then he had to go with Coswell that year. I mean, I'm not saying that Coswell was bad, but you know, I
Yeah.
was there with Coswell, so you know what I
Right.
mean.
Yep. Yep. There you
The
go.
same
Yep.
thing that happened again, and then they lost that series. You see what I'm saying? Which
Oh, yep.
if he would have had me there,
Yeah, you
we
fit.
would have been all
You
right.
fit.
Is what?
You fit the culture. You bought
Yeah,
in. You were there with them
right.
mentally, and you were ready to sacrifice it all and have that loyalty. So great conversation here, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we're with Ike Austin. We've got about a minute left here. I already know what your answer would be if I said your favorite coach of all time, but who was your favorite player to battle against? Just give me a one word answer. Favorite player to battle against in those years.
I would have to say, uh, well, for me, I was battling an all-star, every year. So for me, battling against Zoe is what made me better. Here
Yep.
he's a Hall of Fame right now, and having an opportunity to battle against him, like I said, I was fortunate to play on teams that had very good veterans and talented players, playing against Carl, playing against, you know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
for me, but as for an opposition, I would say the toughest that I had to guard was Elijah Wan.
Ooh, man, did he have some footwork? My goodness.
Yeah. Elijah Wan.
I love it. This has been
I mean,
just
Shaq,
oh,
Elijah Wan. Those were the two. I mean,
two
Shaq was
two
more
totally
power
different games. Yeah, that's
to
right.
those games, but yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
good stuff there. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. It's been insightful. Your wisdom, your knowledge, your expertise, your professionalism, how you persevered and continued to battle and compete. I think are great lessons that everybody can learn from. And that's what's kind of missing in today's society. It's missing in today's culture. There's a lot of entitlement. So, again, I'm giving you flowers, my friend, because I've been able to observe you from afar. And it's been a pleasure getting to know you and have you as a guest to share this knowledge that you've shared with our viewers today, my friend.
Thank you, Scott. I just want to say, Coach Scott, look, with all those lessons that I've learned in basketball, you apply that to your real life, and there are complications that happen in your life, you know. And as long as you stay steady and you still believe in yourself, you'll come out, even though there's a lot of things that are on you, a lot of stress and things like that. Personally, I'm talking about people in personal life. You, as your person, have to believe in whatever you're doing and not let the outside person gear you from going any other way. You
Uh,
believe it, you stay with it.
I love that. That is gold. And I appreciate that because hopefully people are going to hear that because too many people get into their feelings or get into their head and then talk themselves out of success before they even really put forth the effort to dedicate themselves to whatever it is that they're trying to attain. So yes, I appreciate you. God bless you, Ike. Man, it's great to have you on here. Hopefully we'll get
Thank
to
you.
cross paths real soon. But man, did you deliver some nuggets today, brother?
Thank you. I appreciate you, Coach Scott.
You got it. Ladies and gentlemen, again, Ike Austin, 1997 most improved player in the NBA, talking heat culture, talking Utah Jazz, talking career, talking life, talking success. God bless you, my brother. Be paying attention for the next edition of the Coach Scott Field Show real soon. God bless you, Ike.
Thank you. Appreciate you.